This 2,000-year-old Greek device contained 37 bronze gears that calculated the position of every planet visible to the naked eye. We only successfully rebuilt it in 2021. But it gets crazier. Some civilizations mapped the entire Pacific Ocean using just stars and waves. We like to think modern science invented the map of the universe, that telescopes, satellites, and supercomputers gave us our first real picture of the cosmos. But here's the reality check. Thousands of years before us, ancient civilizations had already mapped the sky. Completely. Some of their systems were so advanced, we still can't fully reverse engineer how they worked. In this video, I'm showing you 4 cosmic mapping systems that prove ancient science wasn't primitive. It was ultra-advanced, mathematically rigorous, and rooted in generations of observation. And here's the part that scares historians. These knowledge systems took thousands of years to create and were wiped out in a matter of decades. The Antikythera mechanism is just this incredible chunk of corroded bronze, but inside are 37 tiny, perfectly cut gears. Imagine, you turn a little crank, and it moves the entire cosmos on a set of dials. It's not just an artifact, it's the oldest analog computer we know of. How did it work? It used something called differential gearing, a trick we didn't figure out again until the 1600s, to even track the moon's weird, irregular speed. All those gears were timed so precisely that one turn of the crank equaled 1 day. That daily turn was then converted into the movement of the Sun, Moon, and all the visible planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The front face was like a calendar we'd use, showing the sun's spot in the zodiac and following the 365-day Egyptian year. But the back is where the real mind-blowing stuff happened. It was built around cycles that actually matter for real life. The upper back dial was for the Metonic cycle, a 19-year pattern that was crucial for fixing lunar calendars. This told people when to hold their major festivals and decide on planting seasons.
And this is a cycle of months, 235 months, which fit into 19 years. These are months measured by the moon.
Beneath that was the Saros dial, which predicted eclipses, a massive deal in the ancient world. It could tell you, years in advance, if a solar or lunar eclipse was coming, letting people avoid the panic that often came with unpredicted celestial events.
The lower display is giving the times at which there may be eclipses.
There was even a dial that tracked the cycle of the Olympic Games, showing how connected astronomy was to their everyday civic life. What's wild is that even with our best modern tech, X-rays and modeling, it took researchers until 2021 to finally figure out how every single gear and inscription fit together perfectly. That just shows how advanced the original makers were. The biggest mystery? This technology vanished. After the Roman Empire fell, all that precision, gear making, and high-level engineering disappeared for over 1,000 years. The mechanism wasn't a fluke. It hints at an entire lost tradition of mechanical engineering, maybe tied to people like Archimedes. It proves the ancient Greeks had mechanical computers capable of complex predictive modeling, a scientific peak that just disappeared. You know what else will blow your mind about ancient genius? Polynesian star navigation. It's completely different from the mechanism, but equally brilliant. We're talking about people who mapped a huge portion of the planet, the entire Pacific Ocean, about 64 million square miles, without a single instrument. Think about your phone GPS failing. These people just used nature. No compass, no charts, just reading the stars, feeling the waves, watching the birds, and recognizing how clouds look when they're sitting over an island. Their main tool was a star compass system, but it wasn't a physical object. It was a mental map with 32 points on the horizon, each one tied to where a specific star rose or set, plus the local winds and swells. Their training was insane. A master memorized over 220 stars, knowing exactly where they appeared and disappeared every night of the year. This gave them their position on Earth without a sextant or any tools. It's like carrying a perfect, real-time astronomical model in your head. And when the stars were covered, they became masters of wave pattern reading. Waves bend and bounce off islands, even those you can't see, hundreds of miles away. By feeling the subtle, crisscrossing patterns of the swells through the canoe, they could detect land far beyond the horizon. This skill meant the difference between finding an island and simply drifting. They routinely made journeys of 2,000 miles or more, like going from Hawaii to Tahiti, just using this memory and skill. Their accuracy was incredible, rivaling what European sailors achieved centuries later with much more equipment. It's tragic that this science was almost lost because of colonization. The knowledge was suppressed, and by the 1900s, only a few elders knew the full art. Thankfully, we got a chance to prove it. In 1976, they built the double-hulled canoe Hokulea and sailed it 2,400 miles from Hawaii to Tahiti with no instruments, guided by one of the last traditional navigators. The voyage proved that their traditional methods were scientifically sound and that the ancestors hadn't just stumbled across the islands. This led to a revival and the Polynesian Voyaging Society. The coolest part is the precision of it all. After weeks at sea and thousands of miles, they could hit a tiny island only 20 miles wide. It shows that both the Greeks and the Polynesians achieved scientific peaks, one through gears, the other through a profound connection with the living world. Speaking of astronomy, let's jump forward in time to the Islamic Golden Age star catalogues. Between the 700s and 1200s, while Europe was in the Middle Ages, cities like Baghdad and Samarkand were the world's scientific powerhouse. They didn't just value gold, they valued knowledge. Their crown jewels were giant observatories and libraries packed with books. This whole network saved and advanced global science. That's why many of the star names you know today, like Vega, Altair, and Rigel, are Arabic. Take Al-Sufi, a Persian astronomer. In 964 AD, he wrote the Book of Fixed Stars, essentially rewriting humanity's map of the sky. He checked the old Greek maps, corrected star brightness, added new ones, and updated their celestial addresses. It was a complete recalibration of the known sky, documenting over 1,000 stars with crazy precision. He was one of the first to challenge ancient authority using pure observation. Ptolemy's work had been the standard for 700 years, but Al-Sufi found misplaced stars and wrong brightness values, and he fixed them all. This wasn't just fixing a book, it was making the sky more useful for navigation and telling time. The coolest part? He recorded the Andromeda galaxy 600 years before Europe. He called it the Little Cloud, describing our giant galactic neighbor centuries before the telescope was invented. Even crazier, he logged the Large Magellanic Cloud, an object so far south that Europeans didn't see it until the 1500s. This tells us their sky knowledge came from real journeys and systematic work. His accuracy is nuts. With no lenses or cameras, Al-Sufi's star positions were accurate to within a single degree. This was possible because they didn't just use simple tools. They invented the astrolabe, which was like a medieval multi-tool used to tell time, measure altitude, and find the direction of Mecca, Qibla, a necessity for daily prayer.
Astrolabe is one of the finest and the most precise tool that was developed during the golden age of Islam. And the purpose of building that was to know the precise timing of Islamic prayers.
They also built massive, building-sized quadrants and sextants in observatories the size of palaces to get hyper-accurate data. Another genius, Al-Battani, was a human calculator. He measured the length of the solar year to within 2 minutes of what we know today. Think about how important that is for setting a reliable calendar and timing planting. Everyone from Copernicus to Kepler later quoted his work. Finally, the Islamic scholars saved ancient Greek knowledge. When the works of Euclid and Ptolemy were lost in the West, they found them, translated them into Arabic, and preserved them. This knowledge then slipped back into Europe, providing the very backbone for the Renaissance and the scientific revolution that followed. So, we've talked about the Greeks and the Polynesians and the Islamic scholars, but there's this one modern puzzle that's really going to mess with your head: the Dogon tribe's serious knowledge. The Dogon people live in Mali, West Africa, and for generations, their elders have talked about a hidden companion star to Sirius, They call it CG Tolo. Now, these aren't just vague myths. They describe it as being small, incredibly heavy, and orbiting the main star. Modern science confirms that the companion star, Sirius B, is a white dwarf, basically Earth-sized and super dense. The important thing? It is completely invisible to the naked eye. You need a big, powerful telescope to even see it, and astronomers didn't confirm it visually until 1862. But the Dogon traditions were already there. The most mind-boggling part is their 50-year orbit claim. The Dogon says Sigi Tolo takes about 50 years to circle Sirius A. What does modern science measure the orbit at? 50.1 years. That level of precision coming from a non-technological culture is the center of this mystery. The core problem is simple. They had no lenses, no telescopes, and no written astronomy. Yet they hold information that matches what our best astrophysicists know. Nothing about that makes easy sense. Of course, the skeptical angle is that maybe French anthropologists, when they studied the Dogon in the 1930s, accidentally or intentionally shared details about Sirius B and the Dogon later adopted it. That's possible, but it still doesn't neatly explain how they got the orbit period that exact. Another theory, the cultural memory theory, is that the Dogon preserved fragments of knowledge from ancient high-level civilizations, maybe ancient Egypt or Nubian groups. If so, their storytelling is like a time capsule that preserved real scientific data after the original empires fell. What's certain is that their astronomy is legit. They have a complex celestial calendar tied to their rituals and cultural cycles, showing a deep respect for the sky. The final question, the precision problem, remains open. How did a culture without telescopes know the almost exact orbital period of an invisible star? It just goes to show that there are still incredible secrets hidden within ancient human knowledge. 4 civilizations, 4 complete cosmic maps, different methods, same goal: understanding the universe. So how much knowledge vanished before the Renaissance? And what could humanity have achieved if it survived? However, mapping stars is nothing. Some structures link to distant galaxies, but we'll discuss that in another video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get ready for the next video.